And we're live.
Last call.
Last call.
Welcome everybody to Last Call at Reunion.
8 o'clock on a, what night is it?
I don't know.
It's tonight.
Tuesday?
It's a night. It's one of those nights that ends in a Y. I'm pretty sure it's Tuesday.
Definitely Tuesday.
Yeah.
May
12.
12.
Well, okay, there we go. So that would have been more hard.
Yeah, I actually.
So welcome. Thanks for joining us. I hope you're all cracking open a beer with us at home. Today we are starting with not a beer, but a hard seltzer.
Hard seltzer.
Which is just a malt liquor, by the way.
Naughty hard seltzer.
We're getting naughty tonight.
Getting naughty tonight.
And so
We've referenced it a few times jokingly.
yes. So if you've heard of White Claw or Truly, it's in the same vein.
Oh, same thing.
It is a malt seltzer drink. This has 100 calories, no fat, no cholesterol, like a touch of sodium, and about 1% of your daily value in carbohydrates.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll hold it up, but you all know what this is.
So this is like if you're on a diet and you want to drink, this is a keto-friendly
Yeah.
option.
Now, again, we joke about it, and it's not my go-to by any means, but we've all drank plenty of it.
Yeah.
Josh and I in particular. So this product,
Josh and I in particular.
this product is made by some of our good friends at the Wachusett Brewing. You guys, they've been around forever. They're one of the second wave of craft brewers in America, and they hit a home run, and they've been a great company, and they're really on the map again. Wally Jr. They've got Green Monster was, I think, one of their first comeback beers. Masshole's amazing. Shout out to the guys up there. TJ,
yeah.
The whole gang, yeah.
Chris, right? Yeah. The new president?
Yeah.
Heineken, Chris.
Sounds right.
Sounds right. Sorry.
That's right.
I've usually had too many naughty seltzers, but
so,
I don't want to get TJ in trouble, but I might. He's not watching and probably right there. But this was in development at Wachusett, and Josh and I happened to play golf with TJ, and we've known TJ a long time. One of our great friends, wonderful guy. If you don't know TJ, reach out and meet him. We were playing golf on a very hot day. I think we were at Highfields here in Grafton. And TJ's brother, so anyways, had a golf bag full of these with no labels on them. And we were on like...
Right when they first came out.
Right when they first came out. I don't even know they actually had come out yet.
They were like beer cans.
They were beer cans, full-size beer cans without labels on them. And we're on the third or fourth hole. Hey, want a seltzer? Sure. Have a seltzer. A couple later, seltzer. 5 later, I'm like, I'm freaking drunk. What the hell?
We didn't know there was
alcohol. They were just
it was kind of a new thing, the alcoholic
new.
seltzers at the time.
Yeah.
So we've carried Trulies, we've carried White Claws, but we wanted to, and stay in the vein of helping our friends and helping craft.
That's right.
We wanted to stick with somebody local. So people have asked, like, do you have Wachusett on draft or in bottles? And I'm like, we have Naughty Seltzer. And they're like, why? Is that the same thing? Same company. So I'm gonna crack one of these.
They're doing some fun stuff up there. I don't know. They're doing deliveries. They actually are delivering beer to people like in their house. You can buy a cake from them and they'll deliver it to you.
I'll tell you what, we've been to tap rooms all over the country, hundreds of tap rooms. So I mean, there was a point in time when we were in 7 or 8 a week for our other business. But what Wachusett has done with their tap room and all their streamliner, Airstream. It's amazing. They have an awesome fire pit. The bar's amazing. It's like everything's like
Four Seasons. Beer garden in Worcester this year.
That's right.
Behind the Relics Tavern. They took one of those Airstreams and put it up there.
That's awesome.
And I think they put another one.
They're in the new farmers market.
Yeah, that's right.
And unfortunately, one of the tragic losses of this whole thing, those guys were just getting started.
Oh, yeah, over in Worcester, Kelly Square.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
they closed down before I even got to go.
I know. It was
such
like,
a shame.
boom.
Well, I went one time. This is the best story ever because like every time you go, the parking lot was full. I went one time. It was like President's Day, I think. It was in February. They had just opened up. We pulled in, parking lot kind of empty. Had primo parking. Was super happy. Pull in there, take the ticket. I walk in, and then I realized they're closed on Monday. So that's why the parking was good. And then I still have to pay $2 to exit the parking lot. Very upsetting.
I never even made it into that building.
I never made it in. I mean, not when it was what it was, but yeah.
So let's
Alright, let's have some.
cheers to our.
I mean, the color's
our viewers,
nice.
our
Color,
customers.
beautiful color, no
Yeah.
legs.
I can see right through it.
This is literally
It smells pretty much natural. It doesn't smell.
Which
so
flavor is this?
blueberry
supposed to be?
lemonade.
Blueberry
Blueberry
lemonade.
lemon.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's literally like if you like polar seltzer or you like any of those.
It's a naughty seltzer.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it says it's going.
It doesn't taste like any alcohol at all.
No.
That's the dangerous part.
That's what happened with us golfing.
Yeah.
Literally, by the fifth hole, I couldn't walk.
Yeah, we drank them fast. And we were all.
It's like hot, and we're just like drinking, and like.
So the other reason I wanted to go with the naughty seltzers is to, well, first to to show people what it is and why we have it, and maybe some people are unaware that we have it. The other part of it is low calorie, keto friendly. Summertime is coming. Bathing suit weather is coming. So all in that vein and trying to stay fit and stay light, we wanted to show off a different appetizer that we have. There's one of our vegetarian options. This is the Meze platter, Mediterranean Meze platter.
Yep.
And so it comes with feta cheese and falafel and cucumbers and olives, pita bread, carrot dip, pickled artichokes, just artichokes,
Yeah,
peppers.
artichokes, great olives.
The carrot dip too.
Yeah,
Talk about
so
the
you
carrot
said
dip.
that. So the carrot dip is it's a Moroccan carrot dip actually.
Oh.
But every culture has a hummus of some sort. This happens to be carrots with spices. This is chickpeas with spices.
Yeah.
You can make it with white beans. But every culture has some sort of a mashed up dip like this. And the Moroccan one, it has harissa chili paste in it, garlic, honey, ginger. You boil the carrots.
Wait,
just
say that
like
word again?
Harissa
Harissa honey.
and honey.
Harissa honey?
Harissa hot sauce.
Harissa hot sauce.
Yeah, so harissa is a Moroccan chili paste.
If the harissa's a Moroccan, don't come and knock it.
But if you're
I don't know
familiar
what
with,
that means.
Good night, everybody.
it's their version of sriracha. Again, every culture has that as well.
So this thing, super light. When it was on our regular menu, it was really just like an appetizer, and shareable for the table. But
As you can all imagine, Sean and I grew up with tons of Mediterranean food in our house. Sargon never really had it before, so when we met him, we really were passionate about making sure we got a couple Mediterranean dishes on the menu. So we actually got our grandmother's hummus recipe. No, actually, it's the exact opposite way around.
Well, yeah, I wanted something representative of Middle Eastern food on the menu. So we came up with, at the time, we had the hummus, and we created this guy, and we had the gyros.
Gyros, yeah.
So we took the gyros off. I think that's when this came on.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. And we added the
I'm
Mediterranean
actually
wrap.
going to eat today because this is right in my wheelhouse.
Perfect. Go right ahead. And I'm gonna try. So
I'm going with some hummus and falafel.
the falafel. So falafel is a funny thing because I'm not even a big falafel guy. And it's huge, obviously, in the Middle East. I just, for me, it's an acquired taste. Now, my father, he loves it. He could eat that all day. My brother, he could eat it all day. It just never was a thing for me. But obviously, the feta cheese, the pita, the olives, this is where it's at for me.
Yeah, and I married, again, you guys mostly know me, but I married into a Greek family, gosh, 20-something years ago at this point. Anniversary's on the 18th. Happy anniversary, honey. So this is, since I met my wife, this is a commonality in our house too. I honestly God, I think we go through 4 pounds of olives a week in our house.
So
right now in my refrigerator, I haven't been there in 5 weeks. I guarantee you there's 4 or 5 jars of olives. My wife's making hummus by the gallon right now. Fresh hummus, there's nothing like it.
Oh,
How do you make it?
Well, I don't know. She's making it, but I gave her the recipe. So
basically, you're going to use chickpeas and a food
Chickpeas.
processor. So you put the chickpeas in olive oil in a food processor, and then you're going to want to hit it with some garlic and some tahini. And that is going to give it that smooth, texture to it as well. And then the oil just softens it up.
Yeah, lemon juice.
Lemon juice as well. And so it's just all about your preference.
Yeah.
If you like things garlicky, you're gonna go more garlic to hummus to
what
So
if,
isn't that something you have to like soak the chickpeas ahead of time?
well, if you're using
Yeah.
dry chickpeas.
Exactly.
I mean, you can, honestly, wet chickpeas in a can and dry chickpeas for hummus, there's almost no difference. Really, there's not. When you start making falafel, you need dry chickpeas. The wet chickpeas make them mushy inside, so you've got to use a mixture of chickpea flour and dry chickpeas. But hummus, it's one of those simple foods that is only a few ingredients, right? And some of my favorite foods are only a few ingredients. So you got to first, you got to use real lemon. You got to use fresh garlic. You can't use garlic out of a can. You can't use lemon juice out of a squeeze bottle because it's so naked. You got to use fresh stuff. Tahini is pretty much the same everywhere, but buy a high quality tahini.
Yeah, yeah, I wouldn't skip out on it because the high quality one's not that much more than the low quality.
And the low quality ones are bitter.
Yeah.
They have like this weird bitter thing.
It's a texture thing,
Yep.
the way they look. It's,
Yeah.
go with the higher quality one.
It should almost smell like peanut butter.
Yeah, yeah.
And then your brain goes, wait, that's not peanut butter.
It has a very, very unique, and I can't even describe it, but, so for me, I'm light on the tahini when it comes to wine.
Yeah,
I don't like
that's
too
one
much.
of those. That's
Like,
one of the
too
ones.
much, it can ruin the flavor. It takes away from the chickpea. It takes away from the garlic. So
Now,
for
do
me-
you guys put cumin in it? Because there
Yeah.
are some, so you do. So
Yeah.
the further you go, if you're in Greece or the further you go towards the Middle East, the spices tend to get more intense. So like the Greeks are like minimal on the tahini and the lemon and everything,
Yep.
garlic, and then as you move it towards like the center of where it existed, where it came from, the more garlic, more lemon, they add cumin.
So like my uncle right now, he said, garlic is a must ingredient.
Must, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and and it's great because I love like there's a few things. So there's another there's baba ganoush, which
Eggplant.
yeah, right. But like the way it's done in the Middle East, there's nothing that beats it, and it has spread from there. The
Yep.
Greeks have an eggplant dip that they make. It's mild. It's not. I would beat baba ganoush any day.
Yep, yep.
You know, it's one of those things where it's just
And those artichokes are great too.
Oh, yeah.
It's just so much food. Like, this is a great appetizer. If you're ordering and you want to have like, I mean, no offense to the Nauti Seltzer, because I'm enjoying that, but I think it definitely goes better with a glass of wine.
oh yeah.
Like,
oh, yeah.
this is like, if you're gonna have,
Mediterranean.
you're gonna have a little bit of an appetizer before you eat, a little like, this falls for me in like the vein of like a cheese board, that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Grab this, everybody can kind of nibble on it.
It's Middle Eastern
It's a-
charcuterie.
It's a lot of food. You're not gonna eat it and then sit right down and have dinner, but like eat it, chat a little bit, hang out.
So-
we talk about this all the time. One of our favorite things to do is like sit down to this, grape leaves. There's a
100%.
million other things you can throw in, and you're full. Like who cares?
Snacking is, for me, I could eat every night like this.
Yeah.
And, there's something to be said
And you
about
don't
that
feel terrible
Mediterranean
about
diet.
yourself either.
Exactly.
You'll feel great about it.
So what we used to do, like back home, they would wake up, have some breakfast, go to work, come back at around 12:30, 12:45, have lunch, siesta, wake up at 4 o'clock, 4:30, go back to work, come back home at 8, and then around 9 o'clock they're having this meal again, and they're passing out.
Yeah.
And that is kind of like the routine.
That sounds
So-
awesome.
Yeah, Mediterranean diet.
Every part of that's great except the work part.
Yeah, exactly.
I love
Well,
it.
when we were in Greece, we took the kids. My mother-in-law took us and the kids to Greece, to the village where my wife is from. Not last summer, the summer before. And man, I'll tell you, they know how to eat. They do the same thing. Get up early. They're up early. They go out in the fields. They work. They're farmers still. They have cattle. They take a siesta. I was the only exeno, gringo, whatever you want to call it, white kid from America. I was walking the streets of the village at like noontime, and it was empty. And I loved it. It was so surreal. I walked through the whole village from end to end
It
by
must have been
myself.
really hot though.
It was brutally hot. They were in a heat wave, and it's hot there anyways. But yeah,
Oh
it was
yeah, I
brutal.
remember. There was a heat wave here.
It was, yeah. Worse here. You guys are dying.
We were opening this
We were
place.
opening this place, and I said,
By my
"See ya."
lonesome. But we'll talk about that
Yeah,
later.
sorry.
I lost 4
But,
years of my life that week.
Once the sun goes down, and all the farmers and tractors and all the cattle are put away and everything, there's a center of town with 5 or 6 restaurants, and it fills up like you wouldn't believe. Hundreds of people, an entire village gathers, and they started around 7, 8 o'clock at night, and they're still there at 3 in the morning. And they ship from this it's a food, like full meals, and then they're drinking ouzo, and there's like the
Sounds
music's playing,
fantastic.
and they just.
And I
it's
said
a
a week, it
6
was
night
actually 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna get into
Yeah,
that.
you were gone for a long time.
No, we were gone for a little over 2 weeks.
2 weeks. So,
All right, so-
hold on, wait.
Oh, go ahead.
We have some comments, all right?
All right.
My Catherine had to call me out, of course. She goes, sorry guys, I do not put cumin in my hummus. Well, I put cumin in my hummus, Cat. So there you go.
It's one of those ingredients that's not common, but it's out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And then my uncle was saying, with more lemon juice too. Some people like
Heavy
it,
lemon.
heavy lemon. So it's
I like it heavy lemons. Yeah.
definitely this. I would say the star of the dish, and I think it's everything kind of, you know, and that's why it's in the middle. It all comes out afterwards, and
Yeah.
just it all works. It all works.
This
And I-
is one of those episodes where I'm eating all of that when we're done.
Yes,
Just
yes.
so we're clear, that's not going to waste today. But I'm
All
gonna
right,
drink some wine
We're
with
gonna
it.
pair wine with it.
When I was thinking about wine, I was trying to think, you know, Mediterranean, hot, that culture, that sort of climate. And so we were thinking, you know, we actually don't have any actual Mediterranean wines here. Well, from
Italy's not
Middle
Medi-
Eastern, I mean.
Right.
No Middle Eastern wines.
But we have
Yeah.
But we have Mediterranean wines. So today we decided to go with an Albarino.
Well, so the whole, just for the record, Syria, the whole coast of Syria is on the Mediterranean
Yeah.
Sea.
Exactly.
So there is a part.
We also don't have any geography majors in this room. So we're lucky to have both those
Actually, his
things.
geography is phenomenal.
I know. We played trivia together, and so he's like,
His-
"No,
his
what's the
geography.
capital?" He knows it. So maybe I
He
should
knows
have you
like
introduce
townships
it.
and stuff within Syria.
So it turns out Spain is somewhere near the Mediterranean. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yes, that's for sure.
So Albarino. Albarino is Spain's Sauvignon Blanc, basically.
Yeah.
It's gonna
Dry,
have
white, little sweet.
yeah, it's gonna have that sort of oily thing. I've never actually had this one, but it's definitely
I
going
have.
to. Just by definition, it's gonna have some like fruit, like a hard fruit, like apple-y sort of stuff in
Yeah,
there.
you'll get the pineapple, little grapefruit, but dry versions of it, not super sweet. If you've had a Sauv Blanc, or if you've had any of the slightly, not quite Pinot Grigio. Pinot Grigio is more acidic. It's a little less acidic, but it's
A little
in
more
that camp.
appley.
So I had never like. The only thing I remember about this wine is I liked it. Like, and I remember
So
tasting it way back when we first put it on the menu. And I
So
thought,
Gary Benquista is a huge fan of Spanish wine.
Yep.
He was instrumental in setting up our wine program when we opened.
Yep.
And so we've stayed true to his.
The
his-
last wine buy I did, he was part of.
Yeah.
He helped us on all of them.
Yeah.
So he's got a great palate for this stuff. He loves these, so
I do too.
I love it that I can just open it.
Yeah.
Which
By the way, screw cap cork, who gives a F? Screw caps. More good wine is lost to a cork than needs to be.
I completely agree with that.
And,
we're not
and,
tasting
uh,
it today, we're
No,
just
no, we're
Yeah,
joking.
okay.
No,
and
that's
shout
a really
out to
good
the
wine.
high-end wineries and vintners that,
I remember when I was working at the
Juice
Capitol
Fruit
Grill,
House.
and there was this company called Plum Jack,
yeah.
which is a really high-end wine vineyard.
Thank you.
And they, this was back in
93.
Jackson's 20 years, 18, 19 years ago. I don't know how was it.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter.
so-
Yeah.
2000.
They were, you know, their bottles of wine at the Capitol Grill were selling for 400, 600, you know, they're
Ultra high.
ultra high end. And their winemakers were so adamant about the fact that cork didn't matter in the process. Because it's
Not more than that hurt.
yeah, they made a deal that they made a wine, one of their high-end wines with a screw top, and they said anybody that bought a case of the wine, they were going to fly them in 20 years, probably now, probably right this summer. They were supposed to go. They probably got away with not having to do it. But they were going to bring them to the vineyard to taste the wines against cork versions of it, not
20 years
cork.
later.
20 years later, just to prove to the wine community that they were like, we truly believe that this doesn't matter. Not only does it not matter, cork is it's
Awful.
It's awful, but it's decimating like
Oh, yeah.
what it does, where they get the cork from, and those
Yeah.
places. It does terrible things to those villages, and the corks are terrible.
I read
and all that.
This is how boring I am. I read a book about cork. I'm not kidding. I read a book about cork.
You gave me encyclopedia day off?
Yeah, I would have rather read an encyclopedia. But cork is a bark of a tree that grows incredibly fast, and they shave it off, and they punch it, they put it on a press, and they punch, just like a hole punch, like you're going to make eyelets in a shoe or something, and the leftover pieces of the cork. Cork ruins somewhere between 5 and 20% of wines every year.
Yeah, you know, is it just strictly now a marketing thing? Is this why?
Well, because high-end wines have always had cork. Well, no, here's what really happened. It's not about the high and low-end thing. It's when the screw cap went on wine, the first time that happened, it was on the cheap wine. It was the jug of Ernest and Toledo. It was the cheap Lambrusco. It was the wine that had no name that was just sourced and bottled. So the first time in the 70s, I don't know, maybe the 60s, Mom, Dad, you tell me, I wasn't drinking much wine in the 60s. But when the first screw cap wines came out, they were the cheapest of the cheap, usually in bulk. So if you didn't know wine, and still to this day, nobody knows wine. I love wine, and I know things about wine, but if I want a Spanish wine, I still call Gary, because I freaking don't know. So you have things you do. You look for vineyards you recognize. That's why the name matters on a label. Whether it's right or not, you buy that way if you don't know. And you look for things like, well, if it's a screw cap, it's cheap, so you stay away. So that stigma was there.
Yeah.
There was that, and then there was the whole process in the restaurant, you know, the higher end restaurants, the whole thing, and you taste and smell the cork, and pour the thing, and swirl the thing, and shave your ass, you know, like all these things, like it was so pretentious.
My
So
people just like
click.
Right. Yeah. Now there's wines on draft.
Yeah.
You know, and there's some really good wines on draft.
So I'm gonna do
Alright.
what you taught me the last time.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna touch it. I'm just gonna go for the smell,
Put your nose in it.
and then I'm gonna take a sip.
Blindfolded, I would have said Sauv Blanc smell. It's right in that, it's got red at that.
Yep.
And then I'm gonna open up the wine a little bit by swirling it.
Oh, it's great.
That is a easy drinking summer
Great.
white wine right there.
It's not sweet, but it's sweet enough. Like if you're a person like my wife.
She's a person. I know that for a fact.
But I mean, if you're in that
I can attest to
if you're in
that.
that profile one, so doesn't like big dry wines.
So if you're an awesome person,
If you're an awesome person. If your wine tastes lean towards the sweeter side, this will work for you. It's not sweet, so it works for me as well.
I get that apple.
Get apple.
I knew apple's going to be in there.
Yeah.
But it's got, and I hate to use the term oily, but there's definitely an oiliness to it. It doesn't, it like hangs out in your mouth.
You know what it is? It's got a hint of oak on it. It's got a hint of barrel.
Yeah.
It's got just the slightest little bit of that Chardonnay barrel-aged vanilla thing, which causes that oil.
so I'll say it is definitely. So when you compare this to the Chardonnay that we had the other day,
Right.
for me, I felt that the Chardonnay was easier or more palatable. I thought that on the first sip, I thought it was, I don't know, it's that oaky, buttery
Yeah.
flavor was easier to. This has a little bit of it's hitting you with something.
Some citrus.
Yeah, citrus.
Take
Yeah,
a bite of your
what it
food
is.
and eat it again. Drink it again.
So another interesting thing
Take a
about
bite.
wines
Take a
is
bite.
Yeah.
for thousands of years, wine was meant to be drank with food. Wine by itself, two people sitting at the bar, like my wife again, only drinking wine and not eating, that's new to wine. That's new to wine since probably 80s. I mean, even in the 70s, wine wasn't supposed to be drank like that. So
Yeah.
the idea of a
That's right.
wine that you can drink on its own,
Right?
Way different.
you know, there are certain things, like the balance is just fixed when you add fruit, right? If you have a bright acidic wine, you want cheese. It's
Yeah.
fatty. They counteract each other. It's like an oyster cracker after every bite of chowder, right? Like one offsets the other. You do the palate cleanser. This is meant to be a palate cleanser. So you eat fatty stuff, you eat rich stuff, things that are oily, and then you take a palate cleanse between each. And the bitterness, the citrusy bitterness thing that you're not liking,
Kind of
goes away when the food's in it.
You're right. Well, absolutely.
And sometimes a wine that's wonderful to drink on its own disappears when you add
Right.
fruit. So,
Interesting.
So if you're having a cocktail hour, you gotta put a little effort into.
So, if you're a guest at our restaurant, and you're the one who's going to buy the bottle of wine for the table, and you choose this, are you gonna recommend certain foods to people
Definitely.
at the table? What are you gonna tell them?
So I still think the age-old idea of white wines pair well with poultry and fish, always have. Salads.
I'm starting off with the old menu.
Yeah.
The calamari with a little spice to it.
Yes.
The little sweetness that Sean was talking about, and that spicy thing that you get with the jalapenos and the calamari.
Yeah.
They're just like a perfect match. Again, this sort of thing, anything that's got, like Sean says, a lot of these little like fatty.
But not beef, not pork, not heavy
No.
sauce. Now again, that's
Gary said he has a pandemic tip for all of us. He said wine is great with cereal, even at 8:30 in the morning.
do you go for a slightly sweeter wine though? Are you pouring like a Zin, like a white Zin over your cereal?
Poured in your Cocoa Puffs.
An ice wine maybe. So now having said that, and this is nothing that I invented. If you have a wine that you enjoy drinking, drink the wine you enjoy drinking. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
You can have the richest, most decadent, smoky barbecue, and if you like Pinot Grigio, drink Pinot Grigio. It doesn't need to have a big Lambrusco or a Zin or a. Now the book would tell you, the rule book, whoever wrote it. You know, if you're gonna have a big, heavy red sauce or something like Coq au vin or something with like dark flavors in it, you go red and you go big. You get a big old Cab, you get an old Zin, you get a Bordeaux, and because it has to fend off those intense flavors. But if you don't like that, it's not going to help. It's going to ruin every bite. Drink the one you like.
And Leslie asked, on the cereal or with the cereal?
Yes.
That's a good question.
Both.
So,
The breakfast meme, the breakfast wine meme has come up a lot.
oh my God.
It's
COVID, all rules are off the table right now. Not,
You can recommend
up is
a
down, up
breakfast
is
wine.
right, dark is light, light is dark. I mean, all the rules are gone right now. Speaking of which, I want to talk about, real quick, some food, some wine that we have here at Brewing. Last night, we showed off the turkey, Thanksgiving dinner sandwich,
Yeah.
and also the lobster roll. And today we almost sold out, yeah, it was insane. We had more orders for those two sandwiches than we did anything else tonight, and we almost sold out a lobster roll, which was crazy on the first night.
We had so much prep. I didn't think there
We
was
prepped
no
a
way.
ton.
Yeah, we said, oh, this is gonna last for a long time, and today we almost ran through it, so.
It's crazy.
But that is awesome, so, and it just to go show, like, yesterday we said how
And
much
this
we
would go
liked
great
it.
with that lobster roll.
This is a
100%.
lobster. Absolutely.
100%.
Perfect lobster.
That's what you get tomorrow.
Actually,
just
the
lobster roll.
The turkey sandwich too.
Yep.
Both.
Yeah, get two lobster rolls and a bottle of Albarino, that's what you wanna do.
But the fun
Take
thing
it home,
about all
eat it on the
this
deck.
is that we think we're getting some people that are paying attention to this and
Yeah.
listening to our options. And so we decided today we decided that we're going to start sharing this a little bit more than we have been.
Yep.
And we started a YouTube channel
Yes.
for last. Oh, what happened? For last call.
Last call at reunion. So if you go to YouTube, go to the Reunion Tap&Table page, subscribe, and all these videos that we're putting on Facebook as well will now be on YouTube. And so you can, if you're Googling Reunion Tap, you're gonna see it right over there on the video page. And get us a subscribe and a like.
You're supporting Brick and Feather.
Yep.
Local merch. Go buy merch.
Yes.
If you don't have the ability to go buy food from a restaurant or a brewery, go online and buy a hat, buy a hoodie.
Exactly. So that's
And your hat's foam.
yes.
So you got a foam hat.
Turner Falls, Massachusetts.
Oh, that's right.
Great beer.
Me and Sean had gone over there and I wanted to support. So
You know, it makes me think like
You should get
where when this thing, what do you miss the most? Like, do you guys miss going to these breweries, or
Absolutely.
if you were to say like all the things that you did pre-COVID, what do you? And we're keeping this family friendly.
yeah, of course.
What do you miss the most?
So to be honest with you, so my oldest brother Asher he's special needs.
I miss Asher.
He loves to go out, and he keeps me young. I'll tell you that. Like he loves to go out. He likes to go to bars. He likes to hang out.
All of you know Asher. If you've been in the restaurant, you know Asher. He's in the restaurant 3 or 4 nights a week.
And so for me, I would take them on the weekends and we'd go out to a place and we'd find a spot, sometimes a new one, or one of the regular spots. He loves to go to Reunion, obviously. He has to love it here. But he also likes to go to, in the Western Brew City or Kenichi or whatever. And so I think I miss that. There's a little bit of normalcy. Like, obviously we're here, we're at a bar every single day. We work here, we own the place. Like, that's different. There's a little bit of a normalcy you get when you just get to go out and
The
the
soul is gone.
Yeah.
We're here, but none of you are here.
Yeah.
So it's very bizarre.
Yeah,
it's a
it's
little
like
bit of
being
an
at
empty
home.
shell.
Like it's not like how it used to be.
Yeah.
And so I think there's a little bit of that. That's what I miss the most. I think just the human element of being able to go out and see other people and you feel like you're out, you're doing something.
But Ash is doing okay.
He's doing good.
He gets it. He knows what's going on.
Yeah, he knows that he has to be able to. He's got to stay quarantined as much as he hates it, and he's got to stay inside as much as he hates it.
Anyone who has a infirmed parent in a nursing home, or a special needs relative that's in a home, or someone that's isolated in some way because of this whole thing, God bless.
Yeah, this is tough. It's very, very tough.
Little kids putting masks on 2-year-olds, like what the hell is
Real quick, my uncle asked, is the lobster roll available every day? Yes,
Yes, it is.
It is on the menu.
On the menu full time.
And so is that turkey sandwich until further notice.
I think so. I think we'll keep it on.
Yep.
How about you, Sean? What do you think?
Yeah.
Well, so I talked about this a couple times. I've been living here. I'm not at home. So Sargon is nice enough to let me shower at his house. So I shower at his house in the morning, and we have a room in the back. Yeah, it sounds odd. We have a part of the dining room that's not being used. I'm sleeping back there and showering at Sargon's house. So I miss my family. That's what I miss most.
That makes sense. For me, like, I love the idea of getting takeout at a restaurant. During this, I'm trying to do as much as I can from other places.
We've been ordering everything.
Yeah, every day we're trying to get food. But even when I'm not here with you guys, I'm trying to get food when I can. But that's not typically the way I go out. If I'm going out, I like to go to 4 or 5 different places, have an appetizer and a drink, and go to the next place, have an appetizer. So I feel like in one night I go to 4 or 5 different places and try and have a full meal, but that's a little more challenging in this environment to do. I mean, I've done it a couple times. A couple weeks ago, I was trying to decide which shawarma I liked. There's a shawarma palace or the one over on Water Street. I forget the name of that one. Based it. And so I ordered shawarma from both of them. I ordered falafel from both of them.
Yeah.
Just because same idea.
You smell like shawarma palace for 2 days after you eat it, but it's a good memory. It's so good.
But so I miss that. I miss the sort of like the mingling with the staff. Like I don't sit at tables. Yeah. I only sit at the bar.
Always sit
at the bar. We would go do our deliveries and we would stop at the Fix and talk to Mike, then we'd go to Funky Murphy's and talk to Cal, then we'd go up to Medusa and we'd say hi to Keith and we'd go around.
That's what
That's missing. We don't have that.
There's a huge human element that has kind of gone by the wayside. I mean, we're doing Zoom or you're doing FaceTime. That's great, and we're fortunate enough to have those things so we can stay connected. But man, there's nothing that beats the true human interaction.
So say let's go into the world of fantasy.
Yeah.
And say like when this thing's over, let's imagine that there's a point where it stops.
Yeah.
And what are you gonna do?
Sort of normal.
So I think first thing you're gonna do.
So besides wanting to be in the way of my bartenders and here and talking to the customers, if I'm out, I'm definitely gonna go to. I want to go to a ball game.
Yeah,
I want to go to a comedy show, something where there's a million people around. I want to go to a restaurant. I want to sit at a bar and go on a double date. Like something like that, where you're out with friends. Like
because you guys are fun, but this is not my ideal double date.
Just something where like even just that idea, like oh my God, 4 people at a table, or 6 people at a table, 8 people, that is just that, just kind of going back to that human element.
I'm curious to see how this whole underculture of so many of you have been at home and are quarantined, and your neighbors have been. So no matter what the rules are, you guys can have a cookout in your backyard, and you know you're cool. Like you've been there for 3 weeks, they've been there for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So like, there's going to be this undercurrent of like, yeah, we're going to have a cookout, but I'm just going to invite the 15 people I know that have been quarantined.
Yeah.
And it's going to happen.
Well, I don't think that, you know, we've talked about it many times, but I don't think it goes away till we get a vaccine.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
Or till we
Dr.
find out.
Fauci today testified in front of a House committee that we are 12 months away at minimum for a viable vaccine, and that's without being distributed.
Yeah.
By the time it's distributed, it's going to be 2 years.
Well, hopefully something comes.
And that
up,
would be,
man.
by the way, that would be the fastest we've ever created a vaccine in history.
Well, everyone, and nobody's going anywhere, so.
Well, that's
They
jarring,
revised, they revised the numbers up again by 15,000 today.
for me, it's gonna be live music.
Yeah.
That's what I miss the
Yeah.
most. You know,
It's part of
watching my friends and even the most famous musicians in the world through this little tiny screen with this little shitty speaker is nothing like standing in front of there and feeling the bass in your chest and feeling the energy of the room and the you know, for me, I think the first night I'm going to be sitting in Vincent's watching whoever's playing, and that's what I
Now,
need.
my hope is that we solve that problem.
Yeah.
You know, I think, you know, one of our plans is outside. So it looks like if you're looking at the weather, it's our second winter right now. Like what the hell? But we're about a week away from 70-degree weather for real.
Yeah.
And I think we're gonna see it at that point.
Well, let's hope so. I mean, let's just, you know, hopefully we get to that point where we're able to do, you know, come up with something, you know,
Yeah,
some
put some
creative
music
ideas
outside.
and do some fun things this summer.
Yeah.
Where if we're not open on the inside, maybe outside we can keep everyone safe and.
Put a band on the patio, whatever.
You know,
something,
yeah, we'll come up with something,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure.
you know, so.
It'll be
But-
fun.
Guys, thank you for joining us
Another
tonight.
fun night.
Another great night. These are always fun, so, thank you for watching.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes, go to
Yeah,
YouTube,
right.
subscribe to our page.
I've never said that before.
I know, right? Well, there you go.
There you go.
It's time to something.
I feel so like young and
That's
hip.
right.
Good night, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
See you. Be good.
Take care.